for now. Live with Damian Sanders on CIE Fashion Talk Radio. Where fashion meets music and music meets fashion.
Hey, this is Nautica Andrews.
This is DeAndre Cruz. Yo, it's Lat.
This is Brittany Leanne Archery, and you heard it first at CIE Fashion Talk Radio.
Welcome to CIE Fashion Talk Radio. I'm your host, Damian Sanders, holding it down for the West Coast. As always, we have a very special guest tonight for you. She's an actress. She's doing it real big. She's definitely a huge talent that you need to know. I have Miss Leslie Lluvet in the house. How are you doing, Miss Lady?
Hi, I'm good. Good to hear from you.
First of all, thank you for taking the time to talk to CIE Fashion Talk Radio.
Of course. I love it.
Now, Leslie, I feel like I know you already. I've been up all morning doing homework on you and your career. Now, tell us right off the bat, how were you introduced to acting?
Oh, wow, I love this. Okay, so basically, when I was about 22, 23 years old, I was going to film school to learn how to write. I really wanted to write my family story on coming from Cuba on a boat, all the whole immigration thing. So I just really want to learn how to do that. So in the middle of all that, I decided that I was like, I'm going to learn how to act just because I really want to make sure that as a writer, director, I tell the story from the actor's perspective and really know the dialogue of an actor. So I started to attend these classes, and one of the mentors was Martin Donovan. Martin Donovan is a very amazing person. He is so full of love, and he was the writer on it was an 80s movie, I believe, called Death Becomes Her. It was such a hit back in the day, but it was Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, and I think it was Bruce Willis, and it was so funny. But his method of acting, I started to adapt, and he started to become my mentor. So that's kind of how I started everything, and I realized that in this generation, it's very good to wear multiple hats, just because if you speak the language on a film set of a director, and if you speak the language of a writer, then you pretty much can understand all different aspects and viewpoints in film. So it just makes it that much easier and makes you that much more industrious in the field. So I just stuck with it, and I started to really fall in love with it.
Now, absolutely. Now, you mentioned a couple of things. I don't want to skip over it. You said you're originally from Cuba, and you came here on the boat and things like that. Now, I want to talk about a film that you were working on called 90 Miles. Tell us about that.
So 90 Miles is the first thing that I wanted to really accomplish here in Hollywood when I came when I was 21, but I really just wanted to learn how to write film and write scripts. And I started writing 90 Miles, and I had this weird blockage, and it was because when I was 4, my family and we pretty much fled from Cuba. It was 1994. Things were really rough out there, and my mom and my dad decided that we were going to leave. So my mom decided that she was going to go ahead and take that leap of faith and risk our lives in the middle of the Caribbean. And we were on this journey for quite some time, and I decided that I really needed to tell this story. So as I was writing 90 Miles, I was really realizing that the reason why I couldn't write it was just because I was having a very hard time with the emotions of it. Just as a child, I guess I kind of tried to forget about what occurred, and I just hid those memories away. But as I started talking to my mom and dad on their viewpoint of what happened, and then I called my cousins, and I called several people that were on this journey with us, I started to remember things and more vividly, more intensely as a kid, and it was actually really crazy because I closed myself in the room for a month and a half. I really didn't do much. I just only wrote, ate, slept, and I just made sure I needed to get it done. I was like, I really need to do this, but everything just came to me, and it's all in the script. But it was very it was like an emotional roller coaster ride. It was like reliving the whole story again.
Now, I saw an amazing trailer. I definitely got to go back and watch this TV series myself. I've been looking for something to watch since Game of Thrones went off, but it's a TV show called Ice on the Audience Channel. Tell us about that show right there and how you became a part of that.
Okay, so Ice happened in late 2016, and I was fortunate enough to work with Antoine Fuqua, who was the director of the pilot. He also did Training Day, He's worked a lot with Denzel Washington, and it was a little bit interesting because he's very good at directing. So I was kind of like, I first came on and I was kind of like a little bit intimidated because Jeremy Sisto is also their lead, and it was like really big actors. But I really, once I got on set, it was very, very comfortable because I just felt like, wow, like it feels really good to just work with people that know what they're doing and let you be creative in your own world. There was no restrictions. It was very free. So my manager had called me and said, there's this role that looks really good for you. Apparently the role had been released. I think it had been casted and then been released. But I did my audition, and I broke all the rules. I didn't do the typical white wall, let's get in front of a light. I kind of did the audition exactly how I thought the scene was going to be. So I pretty much, this is like very risque, but I put on a bra, you know, and the Angelina's very like, she's very risque, very out there. She's really like, just doesn't care what people think. So I pretty much did the audition exactly what the script said. She was in her bed smoking a cigarette, and she was in her bra, and that's how I did the scene. And it turned out that, like, I didn't even get a call back. I just went straight to the director,
wow,
and I got hired. So it was really cool, actually, because I was like, either this is going to make me or it's going to break me. But now, from now on, I definitely learned my lesson to, if I feel like I should do something in a self-tape and I think, oh, let me film this in the car, like, that's exactly what I do now. I kind of break the rules when it comes to that.
Fantastic. Now, once again, this is CIE Fashion Talk Radio. We are live and in charge and doing it way, way big with director, writer, and actress, Miss Leslie Lluvet. Now, what current projects are you working on right now that we just absolutely need to know about?
Well, basically, I just found out that I booked something today. It's going to be, I can't tell you the name, but I found out that I booked a voiceover for a worldwide video game, and it was a very big casting director. I don't know if I can, actually, I'm not going to go ahead and, like, tell you all the details just because I don't know how confidential it is. I know that when I first went into the audition, it was very confidential, but I found that today, so I'm about to start working on that today. Also, I booked a pilot last year, Work Friends, with a really well-known director. He directed The Sopranos, Big Love, but I got to play a very eccentric musician who kind of got stuck in the 9-to-5 world and like lost all her like creativity because of, you know, having to pay the bills, having to survive. But it was really cool because I pretty much played someone who was gay, and I had this moment with my partner that I have never had in anything that I've ever done. And it was very like, I was very nervous. I was like, wow, usually I'm never nervous. Like, I've done nude scenes, like I had to do nude scenes, but this, I was fully clothed. It was like just the regular, I had to quit because my partner she was the head of the corporate job, but I had to like just be like, I'm gonna quit and I'm gonna work on my music. And it was so interesting because I had to really feel the love for her, and I was like, wow, like I felt very intimidated, but I worked on that. It's been very good. It's been doing the whole festival round, and we've been getting a lot of like hits with that. And then now my show, basically, that I directed, it's a web series that I want to turn into a bigger picture, kind of bigger, like I want to turn into a huge pilot, but it's an anthology that follows the lives of millennials in Los Angeles, and they pretty much move from the Midwest or the East Coast and come to LA and have these huge dreams, but through trial and error, they notice that it's not as easy as you think, or it's not as easy as they advertise in television or the magazines, or you know, like, it takes a lot of work, basically. They realize that, you know, sometimes you might have to sleep on the couch for 2 years before you get a big break. So you follow those kids around, and you follow, like, different couples, different stories, and that's something I'm working on right now. I'm really, really passionate about that. But, yeah.
Now, I definitely have to ask this question right now. Now, is there one actor or actress out there that you really want to work with in the future?
Yes. I would love to work with Meryl Streep, just because I feel like it would be so challenging to work with someone in that caliber who's just very well known, and I just really respect the craft that she does. So that's like a really big dream of mine to just kind of cross off my checklist. But yeah.
No, absolutely. Now, for the fans out there that want to keep up with your career and follow you on social media or online, now how do they go about doing that?
So you can follow me on Leslie Lluvet, my first and last name. So it's Leslie, last name Lluvet, and that'll be for everything. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff is just my first and last name.
Now, after all, this is CIE Fashion Talk Radio. Now, have you ever dabbled in the fashion world at all?
Honestly, I love the fashion world. That is, like, after I'm done with the whole film thing and everything grows and expands the way I want it to, I want to go into fashion. I actually want to do my own clothing brand. I have it in the works right now. It's pretty much, I want to build, like, high fashion suits for women, but I also have a very, like, I'm creating leotards for women, but it's called We Fit You, and basically women will send us their measurements of their body, and no one but them can actually wear these leotards because it fits their body. So honestly, I've been thinking about it since I was a kid. I love fashion. I do photo shoots all the time. It's kind of like a hidden favorite hobby of mine, to be honest.
Oh, and there it is. Hashtag We Fit You. You heard it right here on CIE Fashion Talk Radio by Miss Leslie Lluvet. We appreciate you for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
And there it is right there. We're going to have you back real soon, and definitely keep us updated on that clothing line.
Yeah, of course. I would love to.
CIE Fashion Talk Radio, and you do know that.
Broadcasting live from Hollywood, California. CIE Fashion Talk Radio. Interviewing the best in fashion from today, yesterday, and tomorrow.